from English Tutor Hub. Today we are doing part 2 of the series videos about short answers, and we are going to look closely at that clauses. So, very quick reminder, a short answer is an answer that does not repeat all of the words from the question. Often, we don't want to repeat the information in a that clause. So, in this lesson, I'm going to show you how we can say a short answer which replaces a that clause. Let me give you an example. So Joe asked, "Do you think that you arrived early?" So here is a that clause. So Ben replies, "I hope that I arrived early." So Ben here is repeating the that clause, which is wrong, and this is a long answer. So this is not what we want to do. This is correct. This is grammatically correct, but it is not a good style of English. This is too long. Alright? So, how do we say this in good English? Well, this is how we say it. I hope so. Do you think that you arrive early? I hope so. So, we can replace that clause with the word so. So we have the verb, the first verb, I hope, and then we simply say the word so, S-O, so. And this is our short answer. This is our short answer. And sometimes, and I will show you this in this lesson, sometimes there isn't a that clause in the question. Sometimes there is just a normal question without a that clause. But we still use this structure because sometimes we want to use a that clause in our answer. Sometimes we need to use a that clause in our answer, but we chose not to. We chose to use the short answer with the word so. Alright? Okay? So sometimes there is no that clause in the question. And this is wrong. I hope it. The other way, and I include in the video because in many other languages this is correct. I hope it. For example, in French, this is how they do it in French program. I hope it. In English, this is wrong. Okay? Don't say I hope it. We say I hope so, and this is wrong as well. I hope. This is very common with English students because I hear this a lot. They give a short answer. Yes, I hope, and I often have to correct it. I hope so, and here are the verbs that use this structure. because obviously we cannot use this with all verbs. So we use this with hope and also this verbs. Believe, hope, expect, imagine, suppose, reckon, think, and be afraid. Now, this isn't a vocabulary lesson. Today's lesson is not a vocabulary lesson, so I suggest that you look in a dictionary and you note these verbs down and look up the exact meaning in a dictionary after this video. Though I'll explain in this video that many of these the meaning is very similar for many of these verbs. So let's look at some example. So here's a question. Carl asked, "Are you going to Las Vegas next week?" So here is a good example because you can see that there is not a that clause in the question, but a full answer, a long answer, it needs a that clause. Let's look at a short answer. And Dave said, "I believe so." So this is a short answer that replaces this. I believe that I'm going to Las Vegas next week. With the that clause, a full long answer would be, I believe that I'm going to Las Vegas next week. So Dave says, yes, I believe that I'm going to Las Vegas next week. Alright? In the context, believe, we are not talking about believing in religion. For that context here, believe simply means I think. Alright? But we can also say, actually guys, there are many possible answers here. I expect so. I think so. I reckon so. These four, when you look in the dictionary after this video, you will see, in fact, the meaning of these four verbs is very similar. They all mean I think. Alright? I expect so. I reckon so. I believe so. The general meaning is I think so. Alright? So these are very similar. So this is obviously replaced I expect that I'm going to Las Vegas next week. I think that I'm going to Las Vegas next week. I reckon that I'm going to Las Vegas next week. Alright? But in the affirmative, we replace it with the word so. And later in this video, I'll explain how to put this in the negative. But this is the affirmative. This is when we are saying yes. Then we also have I imagine so and I suppose so. Again, these two are very similar to these four. These two, imagine and suppose, they are more vague. It's less certain. And I suppose when someone says, I suppose so, to this question, it suggests that perhaps they're not very motivated. They're not very interested in the subject. They're not particularly interested in going to Las Vegas. It's quite a vague answer, but the overall meaning is I think. So again, look in the dictionary after this video and you'll see lots of examples in the dictionary of what these mean exactly. And this one is different. I hope so. So obviously this one means, this suggests that Dave is motivated. He really wants to go to Las Vegas. He hopes that he will go to Las Vegas next week. So there is a suggestion of wanting to go. And this one is very different. David, I'm afraid so. So I put this slightly farther down the page. I'm afraid so. This means yes with regret. Afraid here does not mean fear. Dave is not scared of going to Las Vegas, but I'm afraid so. It means yes. Unfortunately, I'm going to Las Vegas next week. So when someone says, I'm afraid so, they're not motivated. They don't want to go or don't want to do the activity. It's with the say yes with regret. Alright? So here we have the verb to be. We have the verb to be am followed by afraid. So I'm afraid. You're afraid. He, she, it afraid. We afraid. They afraid. Alright? So it means think. These two also mean think, but much more they, and this one is, but this one in your not, this one is you're not very motivated. This one, I suppose so. This one is you're not very motivated. Hope means you're very motivated. I hope so. So it means you're very motivated. You want to go to Las Vegas. And here, I'm afraid so. It's a yes. It is a yes, but with regret. Alright? So now the opposites. How do you put these structures in the negative form? Let's start with an example. Pat asked, is the director coming to the office? So here is the form for the negative. So we put the verb in the negative form. So we have the negative form of the verb followed by so. Example. So Jake says, I don't believe so. So, is the director coming to the office? Jake replies, I don't believe that the director is coming to the office. So remember, believe is mean think. Jake is essentially saying that I don't think that the director is coming to the office. The form is we take the verb, we put it in the negative form. I don't believe. And we add the word so. I don't expect so. I don't think so. I don't reckon so. I don't imagine so. And I don't suppose so. So an example here, when Jane said, I I don't reckon so. This means that I don't reckon that the director is coming to the office. So again, so replaces the that clause. Okay? But there are two options. Notice that there are two verbs which are missing here. We only have 6 verbs, but we have 8 verbs earlier. So there is a different form for 2 other verbs. So we have 2 exceptions. The verb hope uses this form. So hope does not have this form, negative form of the verb, plus so. With hope, we say hope followed by not. And Jake replies, I hope not. Is the director coming to the office? I hope not. So here this means I hope that the director is not coming to the office. Alright? And is the same with be afraid. Jake replies, I'm afraid not. Is the director coming to the office? I'm afraid not. So here, she is saying no with regrets. So this means Jake, I'm afraid not that in fact Jake would like the director to come to the office, but it is not true. It is not true. The director is not coming to the office, and Jake regrets that. Jake would prefer the director to come to the office. But here, I hope not. Jake doesn't want the director to come to the office. I hope not. I hope that the director doesn't come to the office. Alright? Let's look at some more examples of the affirmative and the negative. There are 6 more examples. Mon said, I think that you'll pass the interview. And Dave replies, I hope so. So here we do have a that clause in the statement. It is not always a question. Mon is making a statement. An affirmative statement. It is not always a question. Mon is making a statement, an affirmative statement. And Dave is agreeing and saying, yes, I want to pass the interview. I hope that I'll pass the interview. I hope so. And another example without that clause. Are you sure you'll know a lot of people there? And Kim replies, I don't think so. So I don't think that I know a lot of people there. Here we have an example of the negative. The verb in the negative followed by so, and she doesn't think she knows a lot of people there. I don't think so. Another example. Will you be at the bar? And Rob replies, I expect so. So Rob is saying, I think so. He planned that I will be coming at the bar. So will you be at the bar? I expect that I will be at the bar. I expect so. So here we have the affirmative. We have the affirmative verb followed by so. And Alter asked, "Have you bought me a wine?" And Pam replies, "I'm afraid not." Here is an example of the negative with a form that is an exception. Remember that afraid has the alternative form, "I'm afraid not." So Pam is saying no with regret. Alright? So I regret that I have bought you a wine. Anne asked, "Is Dan going to pick you?" And Susan replies, "I imagine so." So I imagine that Dan is going to pick me. So yes, I think that Dan is going to pick me. It is a verb followed by so. And Gift asked, "Is it going to rain tomorrow?" And Jim replies, "I hope not." So here we have the negative form, and this is also one of the exceptions. So the verb hope takes the word not in the negative. I hope that it is not going to rain tomorrow. Alright? So guys, there we are. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Visit englishtutorhub.com for a full transcript of this tutorial and for other lessons that you might be interested in. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and let me know your thoughts and questions. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. See you soon.